worker, entrepreneur, now's the time to get serious about what you could do and how you could step it up and how you could streamline things because of it.
Yep. Don't panic fire. That's another good one. Don't like take some time with this. Realize you don't have till Christmas if you're watching this live right now. Like put an effort in. Put this on your SWOT analysis. If you have a consultant or a coach, talk to them about that as a business coach helping you grow.
This is AI Marketing Experts, where bold marketers and next-gen AI collide. Each week, join us as we decode trends, test tools, and share real wins from the AI-powered front lines. No fluff, no hype, just straight talk and smarter marketing. Tap subscribe, and let's geek out on AI.
So AI was cited as the primary reason for nearly 40% of US jobs cut in a single month recently, with over 87,000 AI attributed jobs cut in the first 5 months of 2026, the first 5 months of 2026 alone. 47% of B2B companies have already cut marketing roles because of AI. Mostly just by not refilling positions when someone leaves. So there hasn't been these big announcements or press releases, just the roles kind of quietly disappear. So today we're talking about, is this happening in your business, your agency, maybe your own role? How is this affecting small businesses in marketing roles and just positions in general? How is AI changing the scope of things? So I'm Jen Krigo. I have Margot, and I'm here with only two of us today, two extras today, John and
you get the brain trust today.
Yes, it's the cool kids are in class today. Hello and shout out to Chris and Laura, who are out doing other things, very important things in the world. So on that, let's get into it. Let's talk about these jobs.
Yeah, and I wanted to preface a little bit because Brad brought this up. We were talking about like the headlines are all about AI and marketing jobs. So the word is getting out. Again, call me Chicken Little, whatever. I've been screaming this from the rooftops for at least a year or year and a half. But as the slow rolling train coming down the train tracks, the tsunami, the water's rolling out and people are walking toward, oh, what's weird? Why do I see floppy fish on the beach? Right? Not looking at the big wall of water coming towards them. And this is that starting to show a little bit, right? So we're starting to get a little bit of that storm surge showing up, on the beach, and marketing seems to be a low hanging fruit. So the messaging is, oh, AI is replacing marketing jobs. But as we chatted just before we hopped on here, that's a bit of a misnomer. Two things around that. One, well, I'm not a marketing company. I'm a roofing company. I'm not a marketing company. I'm, a plastic surgeon, whatever, right? So there's that thought that keeps people a little naive. And the other side of it is marketing might be, or is, in my world, research and marketing is the canary in the coal mine, right? It is the easiest low-hanging fruit. And as Jen, you just said, it's not that there's like, oh, everybody's gone. 200 people in that wing of the building, on New York, 27th floor. You guys are done today because we replaced you with this one AI bot over here. It is the quiet, we're downsizing by not replacing. There is some job cuts. If Kevin is no good at his job, Kevin's getting laid off because AI can do a better job than Kevin and he just never cared. But the rest of it is, Tom, Dick, Harry, and Nancy are also retiring, whatever, and we're not advertising for the replacement because you know what? We really don't need it. That seems to be the moment right now. What do you think, Brad?
Well, yeah, I would agree. And I think that the subject is important because I just in recent days have talked to different people I know, relatives on social settings, and there's apprehension, there's fear, there's uncertainty, there's different things where some people are like, "Ugh, AI, I don't want anything to do with it because, I'm going to make sure that I'm doing a physical labor job because it'll never get taken away." And and I hear other people, three of us on the call right here on the show today, saying, "You know what? I'm going to immerse myself into AI to the deepest level that I can because I know that it's not going away. I know that it's important. I know that it's valuable if in the right hands and used properly. Certainly, just like the internet or cell phones or texting. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good uses, but there's also dark uses, right? So, we're gonna stay in the happy lane and say, you know what? Right now it's the time where if you own a business, if you have just a regular job, now it's the time to say, you know what? I could do some amazing things. I can not only make sure I have a job or a business, but I could skyrocket it and take it to the stratosphere because I have AI skills, because I learned how to build agentic systems, or I hired somebody that could. So I mean, there's just a lot of uncertainty, but there's a lot of positivity.
Yep. I think the blue ocean first mover advantage, blue ocean thought is part of what people need to take away. There is jobs that, and there's sections that are growing because it's strategy. It's like I talked about this a year ago in March on a 2-day deep dive into the carpet cleaning world niche. We had like 100 and some odd people on paying money to listen to what's happening in AI for 2 full solid days. And how it's changing the home cleaning, home service industry because they were starting to feel it then, just a little bit. And if you are ahead of the curve, if AI is making it easier to do a whole bunch of stuff, including marketing, that you don't necessarily need content writers, research, basic reporting, ad operations, campaign execution as much as before, great. Well, then neither do your competitors. And that might have been 2 or 3 years from now, 5 years ago in a new advancement, right? That everybody takes slow to catch up on. That is 2 or 3 months from now in AI. Years have been compressed. So can you jump in quickly enough to be best known first mover? Because it's also the great equalizer. If you can do it, so can they quickly on your heels. So there's a moment there as well. What do you think of that, Jen?
Well, of course, I agree with everything you're saying. And I think you're right about it is opening other jobs too, like as some jobs are going away. And we started talking about like originally just marketing jobs, but like you guys both mentioned, it's really across the board. Like there's all kinds of jobs that are going away because of AI. Basically, if there's a job that is on your computer, it's a routine. It's done more than once. It's that implementation. With marketing, uh, there's so much implementation that is routine work. Now, you only get the routines because you have the strategy and the expertise and things like that. But the implementation itself is, uh, repeat, repeat, repeat. Uh, that's why, like, as agency owners, our ADHD brain would not be okay with us staying in that implementation. And you know, AI is very good at those tasks. And so, like you said, it doesn't. On one side, it opens it up. It's the big equalizer. I think is how you said it. So that these businesses, if they're not up to where the big businesses are in their area, or the more advanced businesses are in their area, this is their chance, this is their opportunity to use AI to level the playing field. And at the same time, if you're in an industry or an area or a pocket of something that your competitors aren't using AI, well, this is your opportunity. Use AI and get even further further advanced from them, whether that is more market share, more profits. Like, you can do things better, faster, all the things with AI if you start using it. So either way, this is your opportunity to use it at your advantage, your advantage.
Yeah, and I because the way I think of it is, could you get a quote out faster? Absolutely, right? Could you follow up with inquiries better because you didn't follow up well and you know you've never followed up well, and the money's in the follow up, the money's in the list, you don't have a list, you don't do the follow up. I hear it literally every single day on calls with clients of ours, calls with people that are looking into what we do, all that kind of stuff. And it's not the uncommon, it is the common, it is the norm that you kind of bootstrapped and didn't quite figure that out. And there might be holding you back a little bit, but it's about to hold you back a lot as well. So if you could get to quote out faster, right, you might get more jobs. So if you land 5 out of or 3 out of 10 quotes and you get them out faster and you land 6, what will that do to your company? Until your competitor 6 months from now, 3 months from now, implement something and they also get out as quick. But right now, you have that AI advantage. Now, what's the strategy part of that? What if you got a better quote that talks about you as the guide to your customer as the hero and has a better psychological positioning? And now you're able to land more quotes because not only is everybody just the same speed again, not 2 years from now, but 6 months from now, but you now have a deeper strategy. And now yours still stands out because you're being more strategic. So now you know what I even just said about a guide versus the hero of the story and how that whole hero's journey should be in all of your outreach, marketing, follow up, and all that kind of stuff, because you'll land more, you'll book more. Whether you're a plastic surgeon, a carpet cleaner, a mechanic, or whatever, you can be more strategic. You can hope and pray your AI knows what I just said as well, but AI is a regression to the mean, the average of everybody, which is pretty low bar. So being more strategic is still a better way to use AI. So there's good, better, best, as I always talk about. Good is get it in place. Do something so that you can start getting to better when your competitors start doing good, or their software system, their CRM in the industry starts giving everybody good, which is already starting everywhere, right? Now you are at least strategically better. And then you can iterate to best by saying, hey, we've sent out 100 quotes. We've landed 40%. How can we get to 50 or 60%? Let's split test. Let's try a bunch of different, whatever, and really well organized. That would have been a marketing company years ago you'd have to pay them a lot to even understand what split testing even is. Now that could be with a marketing assistant, with a company like us helping you build a marketing triage agent. And now you can do some of that internally. So even people like us running marketing agencies, we can take this better strategy by far more knowledge in the niche and say, hey, anybody wants to come along with us, we've got you beyond good to better, starting to get to best. Is there a value in that to you, right? But you've got to pick it up somewhere. You can't just hope somebody else figures it out in your company or for you. You've got to be leading that charge.
Right. And I would tie that into strategic, like John just said, meaning in our case, we have a whole team of people who worked for us for a long time. And, 2 years ago, I said to all of them, I said, now's the time to start really looking closely at improving skills that integrate AI. And I pointed them in the right direction, different YouTube channels, different trainings, different things like that, to at least start getting your feet wet, to at least start learning some of these things. And then I went through and taught them several different things, because now, 2 years later, AI is in every single department of our company, whether that's content, whether it's video content, whether it's SEO, whether it's ads. I mean, it's everything, website building, all the things that we've been doing for 20 years now have some sort of a layer of AI into them. And so strategic is important, because the people that work for me, most of them still work for me, but we've been able to streamline, we've been able to move faster, we've been able to increase production, all those different things, because using different tools that are AI systems and LLMs and different things like that have moved the needle for us to where we can do more, we can be more effective for our clients and all these different things. And so, to anybody out there, like I said early on in the show, is if you have people that work for you that are just going to put their hands over their eyes and say, I don't want to do it, I'm afraid, I can't learn new stuff. Unfortunately, things are probably not going to go great for them over time, because it, like a relative was telling me a couple of nights ago at dinner, is the relative was saying, I'm frustrated because AI is in everything now, every website, every service, that's the facts. That's the truth. And so again, instead of putting your head in the sand and saying, I don't like it, or I'm afraid of it, or I think it sucks, or I think it's stupid, those probably aren't your best choices, right?
Yeah. So I want to dig into this a little bit because I know, so I've had conversations with Chris recently about the roles that are um, specifically marketing roles that are evolving. And this goes into that 47% of B2B companies that they are cutting marketing roles as, as people leave or, things like that. I know some of us, we've had some discussions about your agencies are changing, right? Like the team roles, are changing. So we know copywriting is affected. We know, well, I'm not going to go into all of them. I'm going to open it up to you guys. John, what roles are you absorbing, really? Like the ones that you've already cut? What are you doing?
Well, we're going to start with a quote by, it's attributed to Sam Altman. Sorry, Sam Altman from OpenAI. He's attributed to him. I've heard a couple other people say it, but it seems to be the root. AI is not going to replace your job, but somebody who knows AI will. Take that to the bank. Write that on a note. Tattoo it to your forehead. Do the inside of your eyelids. I don't really care, but understand that is true and real, and we're there now. So let's start with that. Any role that, as you said earlier, but I tell it my team, if you can take your 15-year-old niece, nephew, cousin, neighbor, show them what you did, and within a couple of days and a good SOP, a good step-by-step document, they could do it for you and manage that, is no longer needed on planet Earth, right? So that is, if you're doing the task, if you're copying and pasting, if you're doing the research, if you're doing the scanning, if you're doing the finding, you are doing absolutely 100% of the wrong thing already right now. If you are directing AI to go do that, even just at the base level of using, like most people who use AI right now are just using it as an answer engine, like, a new version of Google kind of idea, still a little bit better. Understanding agentic workflows before you even worry about building the agent that just goes, I know what you mean, let me go handle it, figure it out myself, and I'll come back to you with a whole strategy and have the done. That exists right now as well down the chain. But even if you have like the agentic system saying, hey, here is my SOP, is there a way that we can make this? Nobody needs to do it. Somebody just needs to monitor the human in the loop, to monitor the output, correct where it drifts, and refine it to make it better until it's locked in. Anything that I just said there that makes sense, where you can train, upgrade, enhance, and just let it run, is the roles. Everybody's role needs to align to that in your company, as a business, all of it. Anywhere that you understand what I said, that you can, again, right now, AI is behind your computer screen, behind your $1,000 machine on your pocket screen. It's not staying there. AI in the real practical world is full self-driving by Tesla. AI in the real practical world is the autonomous robots that are repairing cars in China, just like a mechanic would. So this isn't limited to thought leadership or thought jobs. And it is evolving to that level as well. So if it's a task that can be trained competently in a couple of days, and a good SOP, figure out how you can stop doing that in the next 90 days.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, and piggybacking off what Jen said is what in the marketing space, because that's the space we're in, what particular jobs or skill sets were affected. And I can think of some right away. And she mentioned copywriters. Think about graphic designers. So we've had a graphic designer on our team for 7+ years. Amazing at what he does. And he'd also done video editing for us as well. Well, I told him quite some time ago, your role is going to shift because now me, like anybody out there, can now put in a very simple prompt into ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, GenSpark, whatever it is, and create something that would have taken him hours, if not longer. And if we don't like it, we can then talk to our AI and say, you know what, make him happier. You know what, make that color blue. Fix that, circle this one little area, change that, put this here. So fortunately for me, because I was never a Photoshop expert by any means, that's why I had people that could do it for me. I can do a lot of these things now myself. However, where I was going with that is I have continued to train him on how we can now produce images for social media, for websites, same with video. The stuff that we're able to create now is light years ahead of what we could do before. And what used to take hours or even a whole shift can now take minutes. So it doesn't mean his job went away. What happened was I retrained him. I armed him with the tools to say, hey, if you want to be around working here still, this is what we're going to need to do. I would recommend starting watching these things on YouTube, learning these different softwares. And lo and behold, he's blown away. He doesn't spend any time really in Photoshop anymore. He doesn't have to. And again, because I don't have the level of skills that he's always had, I can dabble with stuff and I can create stuff that may look cool. But when I put it in his hands, because he's a creative guy much more than me, he blows stuff out that just is mind-boggling to me. Like it's like, okay, well, I had a feeling that it would do something like that, like some videos that we made this past week, but I probably could not have directed the AI tools to do what he could do because of his creative abilities. So again, it goes back to whether it's copywriting. I know that that's shifted in a huge way. Find a way to shift, pivot, and expand your knowledge so that your skill set may change, but your skills that you had before can adapt and, be supercharged.
Yeah. And I think that dovetails into execution versus strategy, right? So we know copywriting, like we all used AI tools before ChatGPT, like 2 years before ChatGPT ever came out. Our industry was using Jasper, Jarvis, like a content writing assistant to help. And it seemed amazing until like, oh my God, we get all this content written, until you read the content and realized, oh crap, there's a strategy that's needed because the content can come out like dribble. And then as of like that, again, 5 years ago, we were using those tools. ChatGPT came out, 3 years ago now, or 2.5, 3 years ago, whatever the date is. Now, as of May 8th, Google has, because they're AI first, right? They're mobile first. Now, devices, everything had to be mobile first. Make sure you're mobile friendly, all that kind of stuff, or you don't rank. Now it's AI first. What does that mean? AI is determining if the content is AI dribble, useless, weak, not providing any value, because it can faster than ever before, or if it provides value to the conversation, value to the end user, right? That's strategy. So do you know what a valuable blog post is? How long should it be? What are the headings? If you don't, you're not going to go to your ChatGPT friend and say, hey, write me an article that is valuable. It, again, regression to the mean. To who? To what? Who's your ICP? And. So Brad's design guy, video guy, he has the strategy and the understanding. He just used to also have to spend the hours and hours and hours getting it out of here and putting it there, and then learning how do I gray shade that and get a drop shadow behind that. And hours could go by the first time he ever had to do that, right? I learned Photoshop by sitting watching Toronto Maple Leafs lose hockey games every single night, learning with my laptop beside me how to make circles and how to make, because I just said, I want to learn this. I think it's cool. I need to figure it out. Well, then when the Yellow Page guy, literally go back that long, came and designed an ad, and I'm going, well, that's crap. It doesn't have the strategy of a great ad because I'd learned marketing and all that. I just went into Photoshop and made my own ad, as opposed to going back and forth and being frustrated with them. I said, no, I'd rather this one. Thanks. Carry on. And you know what I mean? So the strategy was still always the execution. I chose to learn as a hobby because the strategy was what I was trying to get out. So nowadays AI can do the execution. So yes, train your team members to understand that, learn the execution of the new paradigm. AI will do it for you because your strategy is what I'm paying you for.
Right. What are your thoughts, Jen?
Well, so one thing that comes to mind is, just if we're talking about even specific roles, I think of my web dev guy. So he's talented guy. He's one of those fantastic unicorns that does both design and development, which I'm
Rare,
a unicorn,
yeah.
so I love that. So he has specialized in WordPress for a long time. That's been like, I don't know, job security for how many years? Like WordPress. I mean, what, almost like 50% of the internet runs on WordPress. I mean, it's huge. But even now, his role has changed so much to where, do we still use WordPress? Yes, 100%. We still use WordPress. Love it. Love all it does. But we use AI to build websites using our strategy, our systems, our frameworks and methodology. But he is WordPress and AI. If he was just WordPress and wasn't, open and, maybe what I called back in the day, AI curious, I wouldn't be able to have him in that role, because he would, if he was just working on WordPress and unwilling, I guess, to bring AI into it, I would have had to have let him go, or he would have been one of the few that would have been, or the 47% that would have been quietly let go and, not replaced. So what are you guys seeing as far as the roles on your team, like the actual people?
I would say that one is dead on for us. We actually had somebody who decided to an overseas employee, WordPress, the exact story you're talking about, and she was not interested in learning AI. We gave her the last 6-8 months, right? She would still spend 5 to 10 hours on a brand new website just updating the CSS throughout the pages, throughout the, all that kind of stuff. That is literally a 2-minute task with AI now, right? The WordPress MCP connectors, brilliant. Hey, can you change this? And then sweep the whole site, make sure everything is updated properly on all the different nuances of that. Make sure all the colors match the brand color, primary, secondary, and the 3 complementary colors, and come back to me anywhere you're unsure where you should put them in. That would have been her page by page, where should I put the primary, where should I put the secondary, whatever, and all that, and make adjustments. That is now a sweep and a report back from Claude Cowork or whatever your tool of choice is. And then you can say, hey, yeah, can you build that into a skill so I never have you ask you to do that again? And the very next one is just done. The strategy is the person putting together the story on the site, the psychological, what's above the fold, what's below the fold, what causes clicks, all of that kind of stuff. It is not, as we've talked on many episodes before, Can you build your own website? Yes. One of my clients just sent me a whole report. I want you guys to revamp my whole website. I don't want to pay you any extra for it. I want you to build it from scratch. Here's the header. Here's the this. Here's the that. Here's the fonts. Here's the layout. Here's the content. Here's the structure. Completely breaks the strategy that's causing him to get higher conversions than ever before. But he put it into his ChatGPT friend, and his ChatGPT said, "Oh yes, if you'd like your website updated, here's an entire, rebuild plan. Send that to your web team." Now I have to have a conversation with them going, we can, but it will ruin your business. Is that your choice? You want it to look pretty and not generate calls. Is that what you're trying to tell me? And obviously his answer is going to be no, but I thought, okay, but have you ever worked in web design? Have you ever studied marketing for 30 years? Have you done A/B split tested? Do you know what Hotjar is? Have you ever ran it? Like, on and on. I'm going to have that conversation. And we all are with people. So there is a, if you know the skill well, be the strategist. And the WordPress is an excellent example of that.
Totally agree. I mean, that's a prime example of, we rebuilt a few websites just in July, and what would have taken weeks, if not months, took day or two, and that was just because we were going back and forth and getting it the way we wanted. But because we have AI tools that are so smart that they can write code and they can just jump in to what we're describing and create pages, create content, all of it in a short period of time, it's just such a light years ahead from what we were doing even 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Much less.
And that's a build. Yeah. And that's a build. Like, think of that. So, and then where's the strategy behind the build? Also, take the last 100 conversations I've had with shops and mechanics or carpet cleaners, and find the common threads of fears. Your wants, needs, desires, fears, your whole, market media message match. Great marketing 101. If you've studied marketing, you know what I just said. And now you can say, hey, AI, go find that, and then diagnose my website compared to the psychological storytelling in somebody's head. Should I hire this company over that company? Do I believe these guys? Right? And build my website to look pretty, but actually tell the story, have the hooks, talk to our ideal customer avatar. Do that by listening to the last 100 calls we've had, pull that all out and put that into the website, and call that version 1 that we're going to split test, because we're not going to be right either. Now that's strategic, not just a prettier website, right? So again, do we still need experts? Absolutely, because that's an expert element to, I have a great looking website that does absolutely nothing, or I have a great looking website that is built around converting, and it now converts 15, 20, 30, 50% higher than it used to before. That was the reason to update the website. Otherwise, David Ogilvy, legendary marketer, used to say that, find out what the wife of the business, like this is Madison Avenue, like $1 million contract, stuff like that. Find out what the wife of the owner really is into. If it's chihuahuas, if it's floral displays, if it's, garden parties, and make sure you put that in all of their marketing, and you'll have a job for life, because she'll go, oh, well, I like it. And the husband will go, okay, never mind. Right. And that would be the whole, that was sort of like the little joke. And the thing is, can you just stuff it with enough ego vanity things that they will continue to pay the bill? In today's day and age, not a thing, right? Can you make it so strategic? It knocks it out of the ballpark on first, second iteration, not 20th, 30th.
Right. I think what you just said totally ties into what I was alluding to before. Whereas we can create websites much faster, and having the ability to produce is great, but having the marketing skills that the three of us have and have had for decades still is that layer of importance of, okay, yes, we can hit the button, we can prompt it the way we want it, we can change it the way we want it, but at the end of the day, we still have to say, okay, it looks pretty, but what are going to be the bullet points? What kind of content needs to be on here? And that's like what John said, you can use tools to analyze, to do deep research, to find out pain points, so that when you're creating the content for our websites or our clients' websites, we now have a shortcut or a speed up to be able to create what is really going to convert.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I think.
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Joe. I'm good.
Well, I was just going to say, so the question is AI cutting jobs right now? Yes, we can all agree. AI is cutting jobs right now. It's also creating some jobs that didn't exist before. So let's touch on that really quick. I know we're running out of time, but I do want to touch on the jobs that AI is actually creating. I know we've talked about jobs evolving, but do either of you guys have anything to pitch in about that?
Yeah. Again, I think we've kind of nailed it in that. Think of, like, I mean, it's also, it's what jobs are growing and evolving also ties into sort of what I'd like to say would be takeaways for small businesses versus takeaways for agencies. Cause we both crowds listen to our stuff and comment in the comments and chat with us and stuff like that. So anything that needs a human judgment needs a human judgment. Like, don't just assume it does. Really think it through. If it needs a human judgment before it bounces out, then that's the human in the loop. That is the role, right? If it's a task driven that you can direct, like Brad said, something that goes, checks your emails, does all this and gives you an update in a minute, you don't need somebody who spends 30, 40 minutes, an hour doing that every morning, right? That person can learn and direct, because then they can spend more of their time being better human judgment and not, get more work done. So it really, is there any specific roles? I would say, like, yeah, we're always, we're, AI implementation, in a company, and, that would be like implementers and prompt, like they're not prompting anymore. It's actually loop engineering and graphic, but anyways, technical like crazy. But there are roles that are growing like crazy. There are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids being hired for $500,000, $750,000 by some of the top labs of the top companies, because they get this, like, just natively. This is just the thought processes, the world they've lived in and grown up in, and just kind of their own, life and stuff like that. So those roles are growing like crazy, right? But are they going to be enough? Is it a 10-to-1, 5-to-1, 20-to-1? We don't know yet. We don't know what the replacement looks like, but yeah. So there are roles, if you're a job seeker right now, think of that for sure. Definitely upgrade your AI skills so that at least as a candidate, you are the AI person. But if you're running a small business or an agency, really start by doing a full audit right now. Do an audit of everything that gets done, how long it takes. I know it's a pain in the ass. Dan Martell in Buy Back Your Time talks about that. He's talked about that for how many years has that book been out? Long before AI. Do an audit of your day. Have your team do an audit of their day for a week or two. Figure out what takes the most amount of time. And it used to be, can you delegate it, defer it, delete it, or do it, right? Is it absolutely in the do column, right? Now we've got do that audit and decide if it's task driven. Is that person on my team or somebody able to direct the AI and learn what that means and direct it to do that thing so that they can be more strategic about how it gets done? They're not bogged down in the weeds.
Exactly right. Yeah, I think we covered it. I mean, yeah, there's shifts, there's changes, but now's the time to, think of long term. No matter what position you're in, owner, worker, entrepreneur, now's the time to get serious about what you could do and how you could step it up and how you could streamline things because of it.
Yep. Don't panic fire. That's another good one. Don't take some time with this. Realize you don't have till Christmas if you're watching this live right now. Like, put an effort in. Put this on your SWOT analysis. If you have a consultant or a coach, talk to them about that as a business coach helping you grow. Is it a strength, a weakness, an opportunity, or a threat? Where does it fit? And how do you align that to your growth goals? Because the businesses that are thinking strategically right now, and including this as one of the major strategic conversations, are the market leaders this time next year and in 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's
John,
good.
John, do you want to just fill us in on what people can do to learn more? And then I think that our glamorous host can wrap us up.
Yep. Just as always, AI marketingexperts.net, not .com. We couldn't get the .com, .net. You can go and see the past episodes, links in there to join the community and all that cool stuff. What do I mean by the community? We have a free community, the AI Marketing Experts, Amy, Insiders Club, where there's take action with Amy after every one of these episodes. There is ideas, prompts, notes, things to share. Again, thinking tools to kind of go a little bit deeper with this. You can join the conversation, ask us questions, all that kind of stuff. Keep an eye on that community because we do want to provide and are providing a lot more valuable resources on how you think this through, how you plan, how you use AI simply to have so its memory doesn't fade, like it's a second brain, how you create your master prompts, the stuff that we all talk about. You can't use AI unless it knows everything about you first. If you start with that, everything gets infinitely better. So there's some starting foundational stuff. And if you're well beyond that, we'll talk about rags and graphs and second brains and wikis and all that kind of stuff as well. So all of that sort of as the community evolves, you guys are directing us where we go. We're deep in the weeds for years. We want to try and keep it at the level you guys are at. So join the community. It's free. Ask questions. Let's have a conversation. And how can we help you? That's our goal here.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Well, on that, we will go ahead and wrap up. If you have made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe on whichever platform it is that you are listening or watching right now. Like, subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating if we've earned your review or rating. And on that, we will go and see you next week. Bye.